Welcome to the show today, guys. The evidence is here and it is massive, guys. This is breaking news that President Donald Trump is finally doing it, appointing a special counsel to go after the Biden administration. The Biden DOJ purposefully, intentionally went after Donald Trump. Guys, we have emails, we have memos, and now we know that they 100% manipulated the law, that they wanted to change things in order to charge Donald Trump and to try and put him in jail. Because of this, Joe Biden was so scared that he was going to lose the election that the only way he thought he could beat him was to actually put him in jail, guys. Let me know your thoughts. What you're about to see is huge. Donald Trump has posted it on his True Social. He has also put out a post saying that he is appointing a special counsel to go after the 2020 rigged election, as well as the Biden DOJ for targeting him, guys. This is about as big as it gets in the breaking news of Trump taking action from himself. Not just saying to Congress needs to do something, but from himself saying we are appointing a special counsel to go after the corruption, guys. This is huge. And not only that, guys, I'm telling you, this is big. We also have it where Trump has explicitly called out former President Barack Obama for funding the Iranian nuclear program that they currently have. Trump said he is going after him as well. He even posted a photo of Obama sitting next to a pile of cash going to Iran. He said, and we know where they got their money. Guys, I'm going to show you all the receipts in a moment, but this is massive. This is the first time Trump has explicitly come out to say he's going after the former two presidents for their action and their lawfare against him and causing the issues we are facing today. And it gets even better because Trump is sick and tired of Congress, guys. This one makes me super happy too. Is sick and tired of Congress taking days off, that he is going to put an executive order in place to make Congress work more. This is beautiful. Just a reminder, guys, this year alone, Congress is taking 18 weeks of vacation this year, getting paid $174,000 a year or more, depending upon your position. And Trump said he is done with this. Guys, so much breaking news today. Biden memos, emails leaked saying that they're talking about what can we do to go after Trump? How can we make this work to go after Trump? And now Trump has called the appointment of a special prosecutor to investigate the fraud in the 2020 election, as well as the weaponization of the DOJ, and the law is on his side. Because not only that, guys, the wins are piling up. He just had a huge win in the Ninth Circuit Court that has unanimously voted that the president's core power to call the National Guard was valid in California, and that Gavin Newsom can take a seat. Trump is coming, MAGA is coming, the justice is coming, and we finally have the president of the United States appointing a special prosecutor to go after the fraud and corruption abuse. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Do you support this? Because this is big, baby. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. We're so excited that you're here with us today, and we thank you for supporting our channel and watching us. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining our family here at TrueLife News so that we can serve you every day with the top news. I want to give some love to all of our members of the channel. Thank you so much for your continued support. In just a couple of days, we're going to be donating live on stream to a local homeless veterans shelter, guys, changing lives, helping out those that have fought and served for our freedom. And want to say thank you to everybody that has given a super chat donation. Anita Achetti, thank you so much for your super chat. Y'all show Nita some love in the chat. And if you don't mind doing a huge favor for us of hitting that thumbs up like button, it really does help out the channel so much, guys. Today's a big day. What you're about to see is new evidence that Trump now has that the Biden DOJ intentionally went after him. They purposefully tried to put him in jail because Biden couldn't beat him in the presidential race. We have where Trump has explicitly called for the appointment of a special prosecutor to investigate the fraud in the 2020 election as well as the weaponization of the DOJ against him. He has explicitly shown an image of Barack Obama sitting next to a pile of cash going to Iran, saying he's the reason why we're in this mess with Iran and Israel, guys. This is big, big stuff we get to show you today, guys. I'm super excited about today's show. Check this out.
Miranda Devine and Senator Grassley, we have some proof. There was a prosecutor who really had a passion for going after J6ers and all things Trump. There he is, and we have an email from him to his DOJ and FBI colleagues. Take a look at this. This is how they talk to each other. Can we do some work to nail down Trump's role in this? According to this Forbes article, Trump recorded the Pledge of Allegiance at MAL, Mar-a-Lago, and Kash Patel is involved. I'll talk to Maria Naren and Julia about doing some follow-up here to nail down Trump's role. In other words, to nail Trump. Can we get something on Trump? This is not the way the justice system is supposed to work. No, it's the next. The FBI gets in on the action. I think we have another one from a guy who was really anxious to get J6ers as well. The FBI agent replies, Esther and I are working on this today. We're going to put together our findings at 2 and get something to you shortly after that. This isn't justice. This isn't policing. This isn't law enforcement. This is dark political operations. And they just had no problem lying about it. This is Merrick Garland. The guy should have been busted for perjury or, I don't know, disbarred for something, because this is not true.
Guys, again, what you're seeing is that we're finally unveiling Trump is not holding back. He is showing everybody the true colors of the previous former presidents who did not put America first. Guys, look, when Trump posts something like this, it says, we know who is responsible for Iran's nuke program, guys. This is massive. That you got Obama kneeling next to stacks and stacks of money, and Trump is calling him out. He's not holding back anymore. And what I love, guys, is that we're finally seeing that Trump is going to be appointing a special prosecutor to go after everybody that you're about to see even on screen who lied to the American people, cheated the American people, used our taxpayer dollars for their own political gain, guys. This is huge.
This appointment underscores for the public the department's commitment to both independence and accountability in particularly sensitive matters, and to making decisions indisputably guided only by the facts and the law.
I have a chance to lead a Justice Department in pursuit of the rule of law.
We have only one rule, and that one rule is that we follow the facts and the law, and we reach the decisions required by the Constitution, and we protect civil liberties. Mr. Smith.
No, they don't. No, they didn't. And they said it so much, it was like muscle memory. It was like automatic, right? It became boilerplate language. We don't look at politics. It's only the facts. Look at Jack Smith. Does anybody believe all of these indictments, all of these arrests, right? They were not looking at politics. Jack Smith, the weirdo's special counsel, go.
Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice. And our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. Applying those laws, collecting facts, that's what determines the outcome of an investigation. Nothing more and nothing less.
Wow, what a liars.
No? What about poll numbers? What about a President Trump who's wildly popular in the Republican Party and just kind of running for the nomination and has a lock on it, and you guys arrest him within a 4-month period, right as the election year is really kicking into high gear? Is that the facts? Is that just following the law? Word is, one of the reasons why Joe Biden did so poorly in that debate, he didn't think he'd even have to debate Trump. He was confident that he wasn't going to be the nominee, that he might be in jail.
There, guys.
Did not work out that way, did it? Anyway, just remember, this is a doozy. They tried to criminalize the singing of the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance, raising all kinds of questions about, well, where did the money go, and how did this happen, and how did that happen? They This is a classic example. Show me the man, we'll find the crime.
Guys, and again, it's getting so big, guys. I hope you appreciate this. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. This right here is, again, Trump is not messing around. He said 0 border crossings for the month of for Trump versus 60,000 for sleepy, crooked Joe Biden, a man who lost the 2020 presidential election by a landslide. Biden was grossly incompetent, and the 2020 election was a total fraud. The evidence is massive and overwhelming. A special prosecutor must be appointed. This cannot be allowed to happen again in the United States of America. Let the work begin. What this crooked man and the corrupt cronies have done to our country in 4 years is grossly indescribable. Guys, this is what we voted for. We've been waiting for Trump to come out, set up the investigations, go after all the lies, go after all the corruption, and we're finally seeing it take place, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is huge. Trump is 100% not only taking care of business at home, but again, when it comes to Barack Obama and what his involvement was with the Iran's nuke program, what you're about to hear, guys, is Trump is going after them as well. Listen to this.
Can't let Iran behave this way and also build nuclear weapons. It's no different than taking out Soleimani during the first term. Show the mullahs in Iran who is boss, because they are acting like fanatical lunatics. Put the fear of God into these people, and as the White House works to keep the confidence of Trump's base, there are Republicans out there that are not helping at all. Here's Tom Tillis straight up pushing for regime change in Iran.
Time for regime change. And I believe that this president should be given a fair amount of leeway to effect that.
Okay, not really a popular place to go, but that's Tom Tillis. That's not Donald Trump. This kind of rhetoric has terrified some of the MAGA base. The fear that Trump is aligned with that kind of thinking. The president has indicated time and time again that he cannot stand that mentality. Just listen to how he's talked about George W. Bush, how he's talked about Iraq, all the words that he said, all the speeches he gave to become the president of the United States in the first place. During Trump's first term in 2019, Iran shot down an unmanned American drone. CNN reported that at the time, Bolton, Pompeo, and Pence all wanted Trump to authorize a retaliatory strike for the shooting down of an unmanned American drone, a retaliatory strike that would have killed 150 Iranians. The president, with all that power and the ability to do so, the ability to do anything he wants, said no, and then explained his decision.
Everybody was saying I'm a warmonger, and now they say I'm a dove. And I think I'm neither. You want to know the truth. I'm a man with common sense, and that's what we need in this country is common sense.
Wow.
But I didn't like the idea of them knowingly shooting down an unmanned drone, and then we kill 150 people. I didn't like that.
Should be clear enough for everybody that's still screaming right now, including some very influential and very important people that are inside of his coalition. He's not looking for a war. He's not looking for a fight. Doesn't that make it clear? All of the power that you put in him, and he says, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
Guys, and again, too, the wins keep coming today because Trump is so smart with his common sense that this breaking today, guys, 4 individuals plead guilty in connection with a $550 million USA fraud scheme. The DOJ has been cracking down and finally holding these people accountable, guys, for the waste, the fraud, and the abuse in the government systems using our hard-earned tax dollars to actually do what? Put America first. Stop wasting it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. This is massive. I want to say thank you so much, Lay Lewis, for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. Grow in the TrueLife News family. I love y'all. Show Lay, OG of the channel, some love in the chat. Show Gregosaurus some love in the chat. He said, let's go. TrueLife News rocks. Awesome work you do, bro. Keep up the great work. I love it. Guys, show Greg and Lay some love in the chat. Trump is 100% cracking down today, guys. And what we have to show you is so good.
Kill all those people. No Americans were killed. We're not going to kill anybody. He's just not looking for this. He's not looking for a fight, but at the same time, you can't be the pushover either. You can't be the warmonger, you can't be the dove. You got to find the middle. If a bunch of Islamic, fanatical psychopaths are building nuclear weapons, yeah, that's got to be shut down, Tucker and Steve Bannon. That's just got to be shut down. That's not starting a war. That's preventing perhaps the end of the world. Luckily, we now have people in the White House that can see the threat of Iran for what it is. Prior administrations absolutely did not want to see it, and were actually terrifying when it comes to Iran. Take a listen to this. This is from just a couple hours ago. This is Obama's former Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy. Take a listen to this.
They chant death to America. I went to Iran in 2014. I was sitting at a rally. These young guys were chanting death to America. I had a minder. I said, what are they saying? They're saying death to America. They finished the chant, and two young men came over and said, are you American? I said, yes. We want to welcome you to our country. We love American culture and love American movies. They wanted to talk about all these things. Iran is the most Western nation in the whole Middle East. We have much more in common with them than a lot of countries that we do have alliances with.
Guys.
Iran is the most Western country in the Middle East. We have alliances, and he marginalizes the fact that they chant death to America inside of their parliament. These are the kinds of people that worked for Obama. These are the same people, of course, you know, these are the people that worked for Biden too. Not a lot changed when you got Biden in. It was really Obama's third term. Think about that guy, Robert Malley, that we talked about quite a bit, who was basically just an Iran propagandist working inside the U.S. State Department. And all the people around him. This is how Iran became so emboldened. And think about all the money that Obama gave Iran, how much they've encouraged this, helped them weaponize this ridiculous ideology that they follow, how dangerous this is. We have had some of the worst foreign policy clowns in the country, running the country, for 12 of the last 16 years until now.
Guys, and it just blows my mind because, again, too, listen to this. If Trump is not posting out the post today saying he is so tired, look at this. Too many non-working holidays in America. It is costing our country billions of dollars to keep all these businesses closed. The workers don't want it either. Soon we'll end up having a holiday for everyone's working day of the year. It must change, and if we're going to make America great again. Because what you're about to see now, guys, I've shown you this before, but oh my goodness. Look at this chart right here. The days in yellow are the days that the actual Congress is in session and working, okay? Look how many are in white with no yellow. There's a lot of days. So they calculated it up. The United States Congress is getting 18 weeks of vacation this year. They get paid $174,000 a year. Only 133 working days for the entire 2025 year. Guys, this right here is the most. We have a Congress that doesn't even work. The average American works 241 days. Congress is working 133 and getting paid $174,000 a year. Guys, this is what we're trying to bring. We're trying to bring the full context that right now, a lot of things are about to change. People are being called out, and the biggest voices are saying everything. Fred Samuel, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, everyone needs to remember real change takes time, and it takes time to build undeniable cases. Trump knows what he's doing and being transparent with us. I love it. Y'all show Fred Samuel some love in the chat. Check this out.
That, you know, the people pushing hardest for American involvement in a war with Iran really hate Trump's domestic agenda. Mark Levin was a never-Trumper in 2016, of course. They all do, the Bill Kristols. They all hate what Trump is trying to do in the United States. But
which is populist economics.
Yeah, they hate it. They hate it. That's exactly right. Look,
we'll see this in the tax bill.
I campaigned for Trump, with Trump. I gave up, this sounds so whiny, but like grouse season, which is my favorite time of year in October, and left my dogs at home suffering. Like, where are you? And went on the road with Trump, and I loved it. And I was with him. I was standing right next to him when he won. I have a picture on my phone of that, which I would never show anybody else, but I look at it because it was one of the happiest moments. It was the happiest moment in politics, and I've seen a lot that I've ever participated in. And look, of course, governing's really hard, and you're never going to do everything you promised you would do. But on the big things, it's really important that they not get totally subverted because it makes people lose faith in the system. And I do
But
think...
the system's run, this is the deep state part of it.
What is the system?
We barely have a grip. We have two good guys. Kash Patel's like a brother to me, and Dan Bongino, great guy. We have two people at FBI.
Yeah.
We barely have a grip there. We have a handful of people at Justice. We barely have a grip there. We have two people at Ellis and Radcliffe at CIA, right? We have a handful of people with Tulsi. On the security, we have Christie and Corey and a couple other people, the Homan at DHS. But DHS is still getting people out here the old-fashioned way. That's where they're burning through cash. In these central apparatuses of the deep state, we barely have a grip on it, and they're running the deal.
We can't get the Kennedy files out 62 years later. And by the way, somebody murdered the president of the United States and lied about it for 60 years, okay? And we still can't get those files. There are thousands of documents that have not been released as of today. And everyone seems to
all of it related to somehow CIA activity or CIA suppressing information with the FBI.
CIA, not just CIA, okay? So, look, we're living in a post-coup country.
The coup
Everything that happened
after that.
Post-1963, every elected official, certainly every official elected at the national level, lives with that hanging over him. They took out this guy, and whoever did it is so powerful that we can't even know today. When John McCone is 50 years in the grave, head of CIA, then everyone's gone, and we still can't find out exactly what happened today.
Sources and methods.
They don't even say that anymore. They don't say anything. They're just like, oh, we released it. No, you didn't. You lie. You lie. I know. I'm from here. I know. So I do think there's a sense in which some of our leaders feel the presence of a physical threat. I don't think that. I know it. So,
well, to wit, Trump is two assassination attempts.
Well, at least two. And you can't have...
Not from Iran. Two that were...
Not from Iran and
for Bibi to say he's got two. That's
too
reaching.
Much. I mean, I do think that Netanyahu could make his case by telling the truth. I don't think there's any reason to lie. Again, that's a lie. He knows that Iran, and then Bret Baier pressed him, and he's like, "Oh, they're proxies anyway." But the point is, as a high school debater, I know how this works.
That was a pivot.
But the point is over here. It's 3-card money. It's the gypsies. Okay. No, Iran did not try to assassinate the president during the last election. And by the way, if Iran did try to assassinate Trump, and we know that, then why are we not at war with Iran? Ooh. What are you saying, Bibi? Are you saying that the president of the United States is such a cuck that a foreign country can try and murder him and he won't do anything about it? Is that what you're saying? I mean, if the administration believed Iran was behind 2 assassination attempts against Donald Trump, trust me, we'd nuke the country. You're not allowed to murder an American president. So that's not true, and everyone knows it's not true. But what is true is that the American president was murdered, and we're still not allowed to know who did it and why. And I just think until that is cleared, and I've never been a Kennedy obsessive or whatever, I'm not interested in the Kennedys especially. I'm not Irish. But as a matter of governance, how can you have a president or a senator who truly does his best to uphold the core idea of a democratic republic, which is the people's opinions matter? You can't have that because he's worried about getting killed. That's just true. And nobody says that. I don't know. Why don't they say that? If this were happening in Liberia, you'd be like, it's not a real government, because whenever the president strays outside the pre-prescribed boundaries, he gets murdered or worries about getting murdered, pretty much the same thing. You would not describe that as a functioning democracy. And yet we just...
Guys, and it goes back to everything we're dealing with right now. Trump is so fed up with this. Look at this. Trump posts this image of Barack Obama, former president, says, "We know who is responsible for the Iran's nuke program." Barack Obama kneeled down to a huge pallets of cash, guys. We know this is AI generated, but again, too, regardless, the president of the United States just called out a former president of the United States for the issues that we're dealing with today. This is huge. And this is, again, Trump is not holding back anymore. calling for the Special Appointment Council prosecutor to go after the 2020 rigged election, as well as the DOJ of the Biden administration. Guys, we're finally seeing so much action take place, and it's beautiful because it is 100% bringing to light the corruption that we've known has been there all along, but we actually couldn't see it until we got the evidence, but we finally got it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Pretend that this is not happening, but it is happening. And boy, do you see it on foreign policy. It's the only issue they care about.
Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
You really think that, and that Mark Levin, like, cares how many Somalis are in Minnesota? No, not at all. The more the better. All he cares about is the projection of force, using American service personnel to fight faraway wars that have no material benefit, in fact, have massive downside for the United States. That's his whole orientation.
But why is that the platform of Fox, though? It's just not Mark. Why is Fox, like, all weekend, it's just cheerleading? It's exact. You can play side by side Iraq in 2003.
Oh, I was there.
And here, and what's happening today? Why is it that? Why is this apparatus?
Well, Levin's the funniest because he's terrible on TV. And again, I never had any problems with him at Fox. He kind of controls Hannity in this weird way. I never understood what that was about. I never really cared to learn. Sean was great to me, always nice, and so was Levin. So I just kind of stayed away. But they didn't want to put him on TV because he's like screechy and he's just not a calming president. Mark Levin on TV! Like, oh my, unless you're literally floating in and out of consciousness and the attendant has taken the remote to go have a cigarette, you're gonna flip the channel when Mark Levin gets on TV. It's like listening to your ex-wife scream about alimony payments. It's like not appealing. So they wouldn't put him on TV. And then, Sean pushed and they gave him some kind of weekend show that nobody watched. Now I don't have a TV, but someone was just who owns a TV was just telling me that he's like all over prime time. So what is that? That's not by popular acclaim. That's not like there are viewer surveys. Like, we need a lot more Mark Levin. Less Jesse Waters, more Mark Levin. Mark Levin! What they're doing is what they always do, which is just turning up the propaganda hose to full blast and just trying to, knock elderly Fox viewers off their feet and make them submit to a new war. This is where
the population, the voters, are ahead of the political class and the media. The American people do not want any more engagement in a foreign war. They saw Iraq, they saw Afghanistan. We're just out.
I think because they're racist. Is that what you're saying? They're just bigots.
So why is Fox continue to pound that?
Because they really, really mean it. And you saw they really mean it. I mean, there is a kind of sincerity there that I respect. I don't know why they fired me, but I think no one ever told me. And I just want to say for the fifth time, they could not have been nicer when they fired me. And they couldn't have been, more friendly. I talked to them recently, to the owners recently, because I still like them, even though we disagree. So I'm not whining about them as people, but I think they canned me from Fox or shut down my show because I criticized Zelensky, and Zelensky's close to the owners of the company. It's like,
and guys, let me tell you this, like, when I pull this stuff up, this blows my mind, because again, when we look at what has happened over the past 4 years, why we have so much national debt, which we just crossed the $37 trillion in national debt for the first time, that the Iraqi-Afghanistan combined cost of the war was $8 trillion. $8 trillion, guys. Literally, this is, if you think about it, it's a little bit over 23% of our national debt. 23% of our national debt went to fight a war from 2001 to basically 2021. Trump is no more wars, no more wasteful spending, no more of all this stuff. Clean up the house. That's why you're seeing on the screen, Trump calls for the special prosecutor to investigate the 2020 election. And what you're about to see next, it's all about the cover-up that we are exposing, finally getting the truth out there and showing everybody why Trump deserves to be president. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check this out.
Thank you. Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Biden administration may go down in history as the most brazen constitutional fraud in American history. a Potemkin presidency fronted by a failing puppet with staffers behind the scenes pulling the strings. This is not political hyperbole. The American people saw it with their own eyes during the June 2024 debate. Numerous times, Biden stood frozen behind the podium, mouth agape, eyes frozen and unblinking. When he did speak, his words were confused and disjointed. I said that night, this is the most consequential presidential debate in history because it will result in one of the two candidates being removed from the ballot. That was exactly right. And following that debate, the Democrats recognized the collapse. They pulled out their knives and took out President Biden like Caesar on the Ides of March. For all of their strutting about, protesting that they support democracy, not a one of them gave a damn about democracy when they pulled Biden off the ballot and dropped Kamala Harris in without a single Democrat primary voter voting for him. And you know what? Not a single Democrat is here today because not a single one of them gives a damn about the fact that they lied to the American people for 4 years. They knew. Every one of them knew that Joe Biden was mentally not competent to do the job. The White House press secretary, she knew when she stood in front of the American people and lied over and over and over again. And they're not here because they can't defend themselves. It wasn't a surprise. For 4 years, the White House hid President Biden from Republican senators, would not let him meet with us. He served 40 years in this body. We all know him. And they deliberately lied. And by the way, Jake Tapper had a bombshell book exposing the incredible scandal that Biden's mental decline was covered up by Jake Tapper. There's a Yiddish word, chutzpah. And that truly is chutzpah. How dare we lie and cover up what we all knew? Now, I have been asked literally 1,000 times by Texans, who was running the country? And I'm going to give you the most terrifying answer. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And not a single Democrat here cares. The most telling proof of Biden's decline came with the signature of the president, the symbol of executive authority that was outsourced to a machine. Mr. Wald, you're a lawyer who served in the White House counsel's office. You understand the gravity of presidential action. Does the president's signature carry legal and constitutional weight under Article 2?
Yes.
Is the act of signing an executive order or signing a law or granting a pardon a delegable duty of the president?
So in that opinion in 2005 from OLC, they said essentially that an auto pen could be used by a subordinate, but the president's determination as to sign the document can never be delegated.
Can that authority be transferred to a staffer or machine without the president's explicit authorization?
Never.
And if you look at the statistics are stunning. In 2021, President Biden issued 78 executive orders. None were signed with an auto pen. That first year of the presidency, Biden, I suppose, was relatively lucid, and 78 executive orders he signed by hand. The second year, however, we see the auto pen emerge. The first auto pen executive order was issued on July 15th, 2022. After that day, 100% of the executive orders issued in 2022 were signed by an auto pen. In 2023, Biden issued 24 executive orders. 16 were auto penned. In 2024, Biden issued 19. 14 were auto penned. In 2025, Biden issued 14 executive orders. Every single one was auto penned. Mr. Wald, let me ask you as a legal matter, if there's a law that's passed both houses of Congress and it goes to the White House, and a staffer auto pens signing that law, without the president's authorization, is that law legally passed and signed into law?
No.
If an executive order is issued and a staffer auto-pens it without the president's authorization, is that executive order legally binding?
No.
And if a pardon is issued from the President of the United States and a staffer auto-pens it without the president's authorization, is that pardon legally binding?
No.
Under the Biden White House, the ceremonial song, Hail to the Chief, was effectively replaced with Hail to the Pen. And it was an outright assault on democracy. And every reporter covering this ought to ask, why doesn't a Democrat care?
Guys, I have to tell you that not one Democrat showed up to the hearing. This is how bad it is. Again, they have the whistleblowers coming forth. They are unveiling everything that under the Biden administration, not only did Biden not even be president whatsoever, but they actually had staffers that were executing all these things without the president's knowing, guys. This is massive what is being unveiled in Congress today to pull back and reverse so many Biden policies and executive actions, guys. This is huge. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to say thank you so much, B1 Sly One, for the super chat. Let's go. And thank you so much, Fred Samuel, brother. Thank you for the super chat. I love it. He said, come on, y'all. I'll match my donation to help support our veterans. I appreciate it so much, brother. Y'all show Fred some love in the chat, guys. Growing the giving so much. It means so much to me, guys. Y'all are amazing.
We heard about the moral responsibilities of a staffer. How about an elected senator who knows damn well that if we get into a war and Iran is preparing to fire a nuclear weapon at the United States, that the commander-in-chief is busy playing with his jello and is not competent to defend ourselves? And every member of the cabinet, the chief of staff, the press secretary, and the members of Congress who lied about this on a daily basis with the press's complicity, they are all responsible for subverting democracy.
Senator Cornyn.
Guys, this is massive, guys. So big over what they're going. And check this out, because again, remember, they're going after the people that have targeted Trump. Just because if they were targeting Trump and doing that illegally, unlawfully, they were probably doing something else. Chuck, this is blowing up all over X right now. Chuck Schumer's annual salary is $193,400. His estimated net worth is $85 million. This is a chart over how much Chuck Schumer has made over the years. Look at what happened as soon as 2010 hit. Guess who was president? Barack Obama. You have his net worth went in 5 years from $3 million to $22 million. And then from 22 to 57, from 57 to 81 million on a $193,000 salary. And that's what it is today. That's not what it's always been. There is investigations from the DOGE team going into all this, because there's no way in a real world with no corruption or fraud that this happens, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because again, what you're about to see next is that it's more evidence of what is coming out, that we have been living under a crazy regime of people that are just deranged, have Trump derangement syndrome, and have lied to the American people big time. Check this out.
To tell the illegals how to run away from ICE. So the taxpayers are paying people who catch them and people who help them escape. Democrats are lashing out because they didn't get their way in November. Just because Trump's using his legal authority doesn't make Trump an authoritarian, unless you're CNN.
This is not the first place authoritarian regimes have taken over. And when you look at what has happened in other countries where that has happened, they use certain issues to actually try. Immigration is one. Trans issues is another one. And what has this administration really focused on? Immigration, trans issues.
Yeah,
that is what authoritarian looks like.
This is all a performance. Every liberal is trying to out-liberal the other. Actor Billy Porter says America is Nazi Germany. It's not going to be Nazi Germany. It's not becoming Nazi Germany. It's not fear of becoming Nazi Germany. It is Nazi Germany right now. And the Jews are black people. Chicago's mayor says Billy's right. This is black genocide.
Much like we fought for civil rights 60 years ago, we're going to continue to make sure that whether you are black, brown, Asian, white, young, old, working people deserve to be prioritized. He's working to eliminate black history. He is trying to eliminate black existence from this country, but he's also attacking.
Guys, do you hear this? This is from a literally mayor of Chicago on CNN, that they let out all this propaganda, this slander, this defamation. Like, this is why nobody watches CNN. This is why, again, new truthful outlets are coming out, because when you say things that guys, this is just a blatant lie. People are sick of it. If you appreciate the truth, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
The LGBTQ+.
I wouldn't say he's trying to eliminate black existence.
Way to push back CNN. This type of energy is very negative, especially on Juneteenth. Jasmine, not to be confused with Davy Crockett, says if you voted for Trump, you're sick in the head.
You know, we've got a mental health crisis in this country because everyone, no matter how you affiliate yourself, should be against Trump, period. I just want the American people to wake up.
The White House wants Jazzy to keep talking.
She is a rising star. It's quite something to behold, actually. I hope that she continues to be a rising star for the Republican Party, at least. I think it's incredibly derogatory to accuse nearly 80 million Americans of mental illness. The last time I checked, Jasmine Crockett couldn't dream of winning such a majority of the public as President Trump did. And the America First movement, which President Trump has built, is filled of hardworking patriots. Jasmine Crockett should go to a Trump rally sometime and she can see it for herself.
But there's someone who doesn't like to see rising stars in the party. This person wants all eyes on them.
I can't just be picked up on the street and hauled off to another country. What I believe it continues to be that there has to be responses and pushback from civil society, from various institutions and individuals outside of government, but there also has to be people in government in both parties who say, well, no, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Barack spent a lot of time complaining about Trump.
Those in power, those with money, exploit that space in which nobody knows what's true. One of our major political parties, you have a whole bunch of people who know that's not true, but we will pretend like it is. We want diversity of opinion. We don't want diversity of facts.
Does anybody know what he's talking about? No one knows. He hasn't been the same since Michelle's podcast. First the coup, then his wife starts dragging him, sitting there cross-legged in Connecticut out of gas. Liberals agree with me. They think Obama's too kumbaya. MSNBC wants him to go harder.
I would give a little bit of a word of advice to President Obama and say, listen, 2012 called and wants their campaign tactics back. This is not a time for platitudes and personal musings, veiled critiques. You have Democrats being arrested, being indicted, being detained, politically assassinated. In a week, there are tanks rolling down the streets of our cities. We can't sit here and be polite anymore.
Guys, these people are such liars. When she said tanks rolling down the streets in our the streets in our cities, she was talking about the parade, the 250th birthday for the Army's parade. And this is how they lie to people. This is how they manipulate people. That again, the context matters, guys. It blows my mind that people watch this stuff and they believe it wholeheartedly without actually knowing the context or knowing what they're talking about. This is why Trump is winning big time. Denise Clark, custom art, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. So here you go, Fred, off today and catching up on some housework, sending love To all the True Life News community, keep sending the receipts of Joel. I love it. Y'all show Denise Clark some love in the chat, as well as Fred Samuel. Let's go.
You can be peaceful, but the righteous anger of the American people needs to be harnessed in a way for people to understand what's at stake.
Democrats want to know where the Messiah went, but it's not 2008 anymore. It's the golden age. If Barack wants to get back in the ring, he needs to step out of the faculty lounge and get real.
I'd like to hear President Obama making those points with Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn and and bro pods, not with academics on panels. I just think that he has a higher and better purpose in this moment.
Outkick.com founder Clay Travis. So Clay, they want Barack Obama to get arrested by ICE and chuck Molotov cocktails at him.
Jesse, here's a question, and I would love to hear Barack Obama answer this. He's a sports fan. He coached his daughters in basketball while he was president of the United States. I think a lot of dads and certainly a lot of moms respect that. I've coached my kids in virtually every sport at some point in time as I've been raising them. Why has Barack Obama never come out, if he cares so much about speaking truth, and said, hey, men who pretend to identify as women should not be able to win women's championships? He doesn't ever have to run for office again. Gavin Newsom came out and tried to say it. If they want Barack Obama to bring some sanity back to the Democrat Party, you have to start by saying things that he 100% believes, but that he's afraid to say. 2008 Obama and 2012 Obama would have never said that men pretending to be women can be champions when he was coaching his little league girls in basketball.
He's scared of his wife. He's the typical I'm scared of my wife kind of guy.
Hey, to be fair, a lot of men watching this program right now are afraid of their wives. So, I'll give him a little bit of a pass.
Yeah, but they're also not married to Michelle Obama. And she can be scary. And he's admitted she's scary.
I do think when you are trying to lecture America on talking and speaking the truth, and you aren't willing to acknowledge blatant lies being spread by your party, you are actually contributing to the arena of misinformation and disinformation. Here's the other thing, Jesse, that I think Obama is starting to grapple with. Donald Trump has replaced him as the most consequential politician of the 21st century.
Boom, baby.
And I don't think he's really come to grips with that yet, Jesse. From the moment that Trump came down that escalator in 2015, all the way through this term, he's going to dominate the first quarter century of this era, of this 100 years. And I think Obama thought he was going to be the star of the 21st century. And instead, Trump is, and I think it bothers him. I think he cares a great deal about his legacy.
Right. And
guys, and again, we bring the receipts. Guys, I want to show you this. It's so important to understand why the Democrats are fighting so much. California has 2.7 million illegals that add 5 congressional seats to the House. 5 from one state. 2.7 million illegals. Remember, when they do the census, they count everybody. Doesn't matter if you're legal, illegal, non-citizen, you are counted, and that's how the congressional seats within our federal government are counted up. There are 22 states in the United States of America that have less than 3 million people in their population. This means the Congressional Electoral College, wise as California illegals, have as much say as 22 other states. Guys, this is what we're talking about. When we look at the manipulation, the lies, the control, it all stems from them being able to control the outcomes of the elections. And now that they have been shown, hey, what's the source of the problem? It's the illegals that are giving the Democrats all the control that they've had. And now that Trump is cleaning them out, that's why they're fighting so hard. And that's why they tried to cover up the Biden administration so hard. And we have one of the whistleblower peoples who is coming out against the Biden administration for all the fraud, the corruption over what happened. Guys, listen to this, because again, this right here is what changes everything.
Senator Corbin, Senator Schmidt, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify this morning about how the cover-up of President Biden's mental decline endangered America's national security and undermined the Constitution. The U.S. Constitution vests executive power in a single person, the president. At the founding, the president exercised the executive power through only a small group of trusted advisors and personnel. In fact, President Washington had a 4-member cabinet. Today, the president directs a Leviathan executive branch with 15 cabinet departments and at least 4 million full-time executive branch employees. The executive branch proliferation has a single source of democratic legitimacy, that by order of the U.S. Constitution's Article 2, the president is both elected by the American people and vested with the executive power, all of it. Traditionally, the president takes positive actions and authenticates those actions through his signature. His signature is required for the most significant actions he may undertake: to sign an executive order, to take any action invested in him by the Constitution, as in granting a pardon, and to take the most important action of all, to sign a bill into law. In all these cases, the president's signature is itself the protection of democratic principle. When the president signs, he communicates his assent and endorsement of the action he takes. The auto pen is a device that signs the president's signature to a document. The Oversight Project, of which I am a board member, has discovered that the Biden White House deployed an auto pen to affix President Biden's signature to pardons, prison commutations, executive orders, and presidential proclamations. The Oversight Project's research has found that the Biden White House first deployed the auto pen to affix President Biden's signature to a proclamation on day 5 of his administration, and that there were at least 3 different auto pen signatures in use throughout President Biden's tenure in the White House. In June 2022, the Biden White House began deploying the auto pen to sign clemency warrants and executive orders. Auto pen use skyrocketed from there. We found that of the 51 clemency warrants issued during the Biden presidency, over half, 32 in total, were signed with an auto pen. And these include some of the most controversial acts of clemency of the Biden presidency, including death row commutations and the preemptive pardons of members of the Biden family, Dr. Anthony Fauci, General Mark Milley, and more that were issued in the final days of the Biden presidency. We reviewed President Biden's schedule in his publicly available media and were unable to find any record of President Biden's personally approving these actions, such as a statement issued by the president himself to reporters. In addition, we found that the Biden White House used the auto pen to affix President Biden's signature to clemency warrants and executive orders while the president himself was in Washington, D.C. for at least some of that day, and thus was presumably available to sign important executive actions. Finally, we found multiple days where President Biden wet-signed a bill into law, but used an auto pen to issue an executive order or for other important executive actions. The Biden White House's widespread use of an auto pen to affix President Biden's signatures to documents that exercise executive powers belonging solely to the president poses significant constitutional, legal, and practical considerations. Once the president's signature is copied and loaded into the auto pen, the machine can sign documents as the president himself would. To be blunt, by using the auto pen, anyone can sign documents as the president himself. Now, to be clear, I'm not here today to suggest that the auto pen is bad. It's just technology. I'm here today because of questions concerning President Biden's capacity and whether the auto pen was used to usurp presidential power or to conceal the president's decline. As the sitting president's mental acuity declined, potentially to the point of incapacitation, his administration's expansion of the powers of the presidency raises more questions than answers. Any investigation into this matter should focus not only on whether President Biden directed or authorized subordinate staff to take action in certain instances, but whether he had the capacity to do so at all. The
Guys,
25th
and this, what you're seeing, is so important because of this right here. Everything that you're seeing right here, that Donald Trump, our president, literally posted that the internal FBI emails reveal Biden's DOJ's obsession with targeting Trump. That all this stuff that happened, whether it was the auto pen, whether it was Biden and all the executive actions and the money that was spent, all of that had to do with staffers and people that hated Trump so much that they took over and hijacked the presidency, that Trump came out, and now we have the evidence, guys. Internal emails from the FBI reveal that there was a deep obsession with doing whatever they could to target Trump. That's why none of the cases that were against Trump stuck. None of them have produced anything. They literally made the fake case in New York, turning things from misdemeanors to felonies because of a booking issue. Everything that you're hearing now is everything being unraveled under the Trump administration of bringing justice back to America, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, let me know your thoughts in the comments.
The amendment lays out clear procedures for what to do when the president is incapacitated. It was carefully drafted and informed by our nation's history. The Biden administration ignored it all to aggrandize executive power and push the country further in their preferred ideological direction. It is our obligation at this point to get to the bottom of these issues and to ask the important question as to whether or not the auto pen and other devices were used to cover and obscure President Biden's mental decline, undermining our national security and also the Constitution. Thank you for the opportunity to testify this morning.
Guys,
right on time.
This is so big because, again, too, just like what you're seeing on the screen, the federal appeals court unanimously voted to indefinitely block California Governor Gavin Newsom from taking control of the National Guard. Everywhere we turn, guys, Trump is winning when it comes to his policies, foreign and domestic, and the border and the economy, and protecting Americans first, guys. Tiffany Yen, thank you so much for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. Y'all show Tiffany Yen some love in the chat. Guys, this is beautiful what I'm about to show you too, because again, when it comes to where things are moving, it's all towards Trump and his policies because people are tired of being stepped over for an illegal. And Trump's ratings are getting higher and higher every day, guys. Check this out.
This is what we should point out. This is Donald Trump's GOP, not Tucker Carlson's. Now, you mentioned what happens when you go against Donald Trump. I mean, this sort of says it all, right? We've had these fights in the past. We had it between Mike Pence and, of course, Donald Trump over the 2020 election. We had it most recently, Elon Musk against Donald Trump. GOP favorables, pre- and post-Trump fight. Look at this. Pre-fight, Mike Pence, very well beloved by Republicans, an 84% favorable rating. Look at where he is now, 36%. When you go against Donald Trump and you're Republican, you go down. How about Elon Musk? Remember, he was beloved by Republicans. He had a 78% favorable rating with Republicans, but then he fought Donald Trump, and what happened? He went down. The bottom line is this: Donald Trump's favorable rating stayed steady, or actually even went up when he won these battles against Mike Pence or Elon Musk. But if you go up against Donald Trump and you're Republican or Republican affiliated, your favorable ratings with Republicans, they go down, traditionally speaking.
Where do things stand right now for the Director of National Intelligence and Tucker Carlson? And again, I want to point out, Carlson's been very public with what he's saying. Tulsi Gabbard, we haven't heard from her in a little bit.
Yeah, this is Donald Trump's Republican Party. The favorable rating among Republicans, you could see it here. Donald Trump beloved, 88% favorable rating among Republicans, near his apex. Now, Tucker Carlson is well-liked among Republicans, but not anywhere in the same universe as Donald Trump at 64%, Tulsi Gabbard, 55%. The bottom line is this: as I said at the beginning, this is Donald Trump's Republican Party, not Tucker Carlson's, not Tulsi Gabbard's. Republicans, traditionally speaking, go along with Donald Trump. And as we saw in that last slide, when you go against Donald Trump, you go down while Donald Trump stays quite high.
And we keep on monitoring where Republican support is for the possibility of strikes. What's the latest you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, look, what we saw, what we see in the data, you know, and I've looked at a number of different polls. They've asked it different ways. But the clear majority of Republicans, in any poll that you look, GOP on U.S. airstrikes against Iran, if Iran's pursuing nuclear arms, you see it here. The Republican Party, again, is with Donald Trump, 69% in this particular poll from the Chicago Council that was taken a few months ago, compared to 27% who are opposed. But again, even if you look at the other polling data, it all points in the same direction. Republicans are with Donald Trump on this particular issue, and they're with Donald Trump at large. And when you go against Donald Trump, you go down.
Guys, how insane is that? And again, there is new people, guys, that are coming up in the GOP party that are becoming, to me, like the next pit bulls over what is happening. But what I love most of all, guys, is that we are finally putting people in jail for what? For the corruption, for the fraud, for the waste, the abuse that we have seen and we knew was happening, guys. Listen to this. The first of many to come that are going to jail for the fraud schemes with the USAID. Check this out.
Well, 4 people are pleading guilty, all part of a $500 million bribery scandal involving USAID. Mike Emanuel has the story from Washington. Bill, good morning. The scheme involving cash, NBA tickets, and a country club wedding. According to the Justice Department, USAID official Roderick Watson sold his influence starting back in 2013. Contractors Walter Barnes and Darrell Britt funneled payoffs through subcontractor Paul Young to hide their tracks. It doesn't end there. Barnes's company, working in conjunction with another firm, kept receiving federal funds. $5,000 for human resources consulting late last year. And then later, after suing the government, a contract worth up to $800 million. Matthew R. Galliotti, head of the Justice Department's criminal division, saying, quote, their scheme violated the public trust by corrupting the federal government's procurement process. Anybody who cares about good and effective government should be concerned about the waste, fraud, and abuse in government agencies, including USAID. Cutting waste, fraud, and abuse has been a big focus on Capitol Hill across government.
Boom.
A major priority for House Speaker Mike Johnson. The U.S. Agency for International Development has been a target for those looking to trim government spending, with some suggesting the agency funneled taxpayer dollars into ideological projects.
I mean, USAID blew it. They showed themselves to be completely irresponsible. It needs to be redone, and the funds need to be directed properly.
Back to the scheme, the Justice Department says this kind of fraud erodes public trust. Bill? Wild story, Mike.
Guys, again, catching the fraud, the waste, the abuse. This is where it's at, guys, and we are 100% moving forward so much with this, guys, and it makes me happy because, again, too, Trump is now calls for the special prosecutor to investigate the 2020 election. We are seeing justice right before our eyes, and it's about dang time. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching today, to all of our subscribers and viewers. Thank you so much. Guys, it means the world to us that you watch us and you support us. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining our True Life News family so that we can serve you every day with the top news. And remember, whenever you give a super chat, whenever you give a donation or you're a member, we take that money, we donate it live on stream. Guys, this guy right here donates that live on stream to a local charity. This month it's going to be to a local homeless veterans shelter. And I want to give some special love to those that have given today, guys. So awesome. Give some love to Lay Lewis for gifting 5 True Life News memberships. Gregosaurus, Fred Samuel, B1 Sly One, OG D-Dog, Gregor Highs for Congress, Denise Clark Custom Art. Show her some love in the chat, as well as Tiffany Yen for gifting those 5 True Life News memberships. Thank you so much for liking and sharing our videos, guys. We just want to bring the truth. We want to bring the receipts, and we want to show you the most breaking news of what's going on every single day. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.